Thank you very much, everyone. Very good morning to all of you, and thanks for taking time on a Sunday morning. It's really appreciable that a lot of people have joined in on a nice Sunday morning. Thank you very much. My name is Harish. The idea of today's webinar is to look at what can you expect on Nifty and Bank Nifty as far as the June series is concerned. And we've kind of timed it very well in terms of kept it after the May series. So there's a lot of data that is available in terms of the rollover data and so on and so on. So in terms of the agenda for today, we will start off with analyzing the data for Nifty and Bank Nifty. The data essentially will be around, the open interest data, the rollovers that have happened, and most importantly, the charts. What do the charts tell you? And this session is going to be taken by Kapil Dasani. To quickly introduce Kapil Dasani, Kapil is a seasoned option trader for more than 10 years now. I believe it's about 13 or 14 years now that he's been into the markets. A chartered accountant by profession, a fairly consistently profitable trader, and his mastery over the derivatives segment, particularly analyzing the OI data or looking at the various option strategy, is phenomenal. So we have the privilege of having him today do this session. And then after that, we have Mitessh sir. So we've kept the best for the last. Mitessh sir will be joining in and would be giving his expert opinion on the markets and largely around, what the technical charts have to say or the ranges and so on. And the best part is that we will take questions from you and pose it to Mitessh sir, and you can ask questions. So the request would be that once the session is beginning, in terms of the Q&A session that begins, put in your questions in the chat box, and we'll take those questions, put it over to Mr. Mitessh, and then he'll answer you directly. Yes? So be there till the end. Let's do this a very productive session, and let's be very informed and an educated one. I'll not take much time now. I'll hand over to Kapil sir. Kapil sir, please take over. All yours.
Good morning, everybody. Let's start the session by viewing what we can expect from series and market. Before going any further, I would like standard disclaimer. This is the webinar on players have implement. If you want to take it discuss it, then please take solution of financial advice. We at Kapil Club are lab and out of discussions. Well, before going any further, we had seen a massive movement in May series. A quick down, almost 70,000 and below 60. Then some sideways movement, and then now what to expect in coming June series. Before going any further, let's talk a bit about VIX. Volatility or the India VIX is described as rate of magnitude of change in price and which change in price. It is an indicator which gives us idea about volatility that can happen in coming days, in week, and what sort of volatility that we are going to expect in coming sessions. First thing, volatility index VIX is also called fear index. So let us share the chart as well of VIX to get a clearer idea. daily chart of India VIX, thing that we can notice is there was a steady rise since mid-April onwards, and it kept on rising. And in last few trading sessions, VIX has mellowed down gradually. Normally, VIX, India VIX or the VIX as it is said has inverted relationship with the इंडेक्स मतलब कि इंडेक्स बढ़ रहा है तो विक्स डाउन जाएगा, विक्स अप जा रहा है तो इंडेक्स डाउन जा सकता. लेट्स गेट बैक टू अवर प्रेजेंटेशन अगेन. सो market, if a market is expected to fall, many option writer will buy put options and premium of put option will increase, hence the VIX will increase. The similar way, if market is expected to remain sideways, there will be straddles that are created by selling puts and calls, which will give reduction in the volatility. If there is a single side move on the upside or on the downside, first thing that can be good is by looking at the VIX. Now let's calculate the VIX for the month of May. May series का VIX हम कैलकुलेट करते हैं 27 मई से लेकर सॉरी 2 मई से लेकर 27 मई तक, तो हमें एवरेज मिलता है 2.86. मतलब कि एवरेज amount of volatility that had happened was 22.86 for the month of May. On basis of that, we can calculate the Nifty range as per the VIX, whereby the formula is volatility VIX divided by square root of time. Time is the 12 months. So square root of 12, as there are 12 months in a year, expected volatility will be 6.599, or we can round it off 6.6. Calculating, considering the close of May expiry day 16/1/7 rounded off, we can get a range almost of 15,600 to 16,600 for the week, first week of the June. And for the month, if you go to the calculation, then it will be around 15,000 to 17,000 plus or minus 100-200 points. That gives us the idea that we are going to have a trending move which may happen in coming series. Before going further, let me get back to the charts of VIX and give a hack to all my participants. Whenever you are looking at chart of volatility VIX, try to add a study of average excuse me, with parameter exponential 21. We will get a exponential moving average of 21. For the display purpose, let me put in the color which is conveniently visible to you. So, जब तक जभी भी VIX is closing above 21 days moving average plotted on its chart, we can construe that a down for fear increasing day. Moment we start getting close of VIX and at the end of the day below 20 days moving average, we can expect a lowering or the down the VIX, which might give us a good up move, as index are inversely correlated to VIX. Now, not wasting much of the time, let's go to the chart of Nifty and check what we can construe from it. First, we will go to the monthly chart, and something that can be noticed is, since the inverted hammer that had happened in the October, market had corrected to some extent, but broadly the correction is more of a ups and downs with lots of volatility and lesser of the directional move on month basis as compared to the one that we had pursued in earlier months. Before going further, let's also look at the Fibo retracement that can give us the idea what we can expect. So, from the COVID lows, the recent high of October, we are taking support at 20.6 retracement. If I consider this upward sloping trend line or the resistance line which had happened was put out previously in early 2021, then we might get a retest of that line. Max might get a retracement of the Fibonacci. So monthly chart suggests that this downfall might get, we can expect it to get over, subject to we are trading above the low of March, that is 17,559 or rounding 1760. Till we are above that, up move is possible. Now let's check how much and in which manner. Let's go to, from telescopic view, let's go a little bit down in our top-down approach to weekly charts. In weekly charts, it can be seen that since September 2000, first week of September 2021 till early March, we went down from this consolidation, again came within the consolidation area between 345 or 350 to 16980 and around 70,000. So 1850 से 70,000 किया है since September 2000. But after giving a small downward outside the range, it again came within the range in April, and in early May we again started pull down the range that had been established earlier on. Now, with this situation and again taking support of this low at 15,785, we can expect initial retracement up to 16,980 in coming days. Now, let us just take the idea what will be the retracement levels that we can expect. So 16,927 which is also coinciding with our previous support line of 16,980. So I would expect, as the range we had calculated on VIX, it was around 17,000 and our retracement is around 61.8%, retracement is around 707 and our support line 16,980, which is coinciding. I expect if this up comes and right incoming
Sir.
June series.
Hello.
Yes.
Kapil sir, slight bit of a network issue. I think the voice is breaking. So if you can just repeat the last 3-4 sentences that you said.
Retracement part. Yeah, I will definitely.
Yeah, and I think since there are a lot of other people apart from our students also, yeah. So maybe if you can do a little bit of Hindi also, that will be
Yes,
wonderful.
I will take care of it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
तो ये जो मई महीने में हमने फॉल देखा है निफ्टी में, विच हैड टेकन सपोर्ट ऑलमोस्ट, इसने मार्च के लो के आसपास सपोर्ट लिया और थोड़ा सा अप देना पिछले 2 सालों। तो ये अपमूव हम कहाँ तक एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं इन कमिंग 4 वीक्स और द इन जून सीरीज? तो आई वुड, एज हरीश भाई रिमाइंडेड, हमारे जो स्टूडेंट्स है उनके लिए ये क्वेश्चन नहीं है, लेकिन बाकी के लोगों को ये चीज समझने के लिए थोड़ा एलाबोरेट कर रहा हूँ कि जो रिट्रेसमेंट लाइन है और या जो फिबो रिट्रेसमेंट हम ले रहे हैं, जो हमारी प्रीवियस सपोर्ट लाइन से कोइंसाइड कर रहा है, कन्फ्लुएंस दे रहा है, वो जगह पे हम एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं कि ये अब यदि 55 हुआ, मेंटेन हुआ, जा सकता। अभी इससे आगे फर्दर let us go to daily charts to get a bit more clearer view. What can we expect to happen in coming days? So let's have a look at daily chart of Nifty. Broadly एक broadening pattern बन रहा है, but now as of now had taken some around 57 as discussed earlier. एक चीज आपको मैं नोटिस में लाना चाहूंगा, ये जो कंसोलिडेशन जून और जुलाई 2021 में हुआ था, बिटवीन जून एंड जुलाई 2000, इस कंसोलिडेशन का अपसाइड ब्रेकआउट था और अपूर्व था। अभी हमने 2 बार, यदि एक मिड लाइन वो कंसोलिडेशन के ऊपर गो किया जाए तो हमने 2 बार उसी कंसोलिडेशन के सपोर्ट लेके अपूर्व लिया है। शायद if we go above 16950 we can think of this line, but till then our initial expectation will be that above the gap, let me show you the gap. हम चार्ट सेट शो गैप्स कर सकते। ये जो गैप है वहां पे हमें डेली चार्ट्स में एक डिस्टेंस है इनिशियली। दिस गैप इज बिटवीन 16484 16651। सो 650 16650 से 16480 के बीच में हमें कुछ रेजिस्टेंस मिल सकता है। ये गैप फिल करने के बाद वी माइट अप्रोच 16950 in coming days or in next few weeks. Before going further, एक चीज और मैं ऐड करना चाहूंगा यहाँ पे। हमारे स्टूडेंट्स, see, easiest of the indicators are the most helpful, subject to you are using it in a peculiar manner or you are using it in with some back tested additional indicators. As we teach in our courses, as of now the price had just touched exponential moving average 21. Any further up move that which is to be expected should be above, or once we get goes above this 21 days moving average. If we retest this zone, then we might spend a few more days in this consolidation till we get any close above exponential moving average daily charts. We cannot expect any further strong up move till our close is not good. We are getting daily close above. We are closing above the exponential average of last 21 weeks. Now, let's go to a typical microscopic view of intraday charts of 75 minutes, which we normally use, and it is easily available on Spider software. So you can see the lines drawn between 16,380, 15,785. We are in this consolidation since 9th of May till date. We went down, we went up, again went down, up, down, but didn't touch the support line, and we are now about to touch the resistance line. So again the similar view. If we close above this level, might expect for these. And our students are very much aware of that this is a rectangular pattern. A rectangular pattern once gives the breakout. कभी भी इसका breakout आता है. Expect minimum size of the rectangle for the targets. So 16,380 minus 780 will give us target of another 600 points, which will coincide with our level of 17,000, 16,950 range, as we had seen with weeks, with our volatility index, India weeks, with our retracements on weekly charts. And now, before going any further on Nifty, let's discuss a bit about the open interest data, which will give us a clear-cut view how the pro traders or how the market makers are positioned. Firstly, we will have a quick look on the monthly open interest on Nifty, which is expiring on 30th of June. Then we will go to bit microscopic level, that is the weekly expiry. Firstly, as it can be seen, strike price of 15,500 and 16,000 are having massive open interest of puts as compared to calls. So 16,000 protect करने के मूड में है बाजार. We might not go beyond 16,000 in June series until and unless we see short covering of in 16,000 puts or increase in open interest of 16,000 calls. Now let's discuss few resistance. Let me reduce the size to 14,500 to 18,500 get a more visibility, get the more visible. Now, as of now, on monthly series, there is a slight resistance around 16,500, but put writers are coming in gradually as compared to call writers. If we see any unwinding or short covering from the call side or increase in OI from the side, we may construe that 16,500 is being taken care of and might further go upwards to the next level of 17,000. As of now, we can presume that 17,000 is going to be our bigger resistance in coming days or in coming June series. Now, let's go back to our weekly open interest of Nifty expiry on options, which might give us the clear idea what can happen in coming few days or in next week. So, as of now, again, a good amount of open interest on puts at 16,000. But one thing that I would like to share with my participants that at 16,300, where there was massive call OI, there a sudden rise in put open interest has happened on Friday, which made which made the put call ratio to go above 1 at 16,300 strike price. If this open interest sustains on put side and we see a short covering on call side, then our initial expectation will be of 16,500, where there is good open interest of calls, as of now, which might act as resistance, because this short covering might go at least for another 100 points in coming days on Nifty. So initial expectation for the week could be, as per the open interest, till 16,300 is protected. We might go up to 16,500 in coming days. But always subject confirmation chart. So initially, if someone wants to initiate it, then he might think in this manner. Now, our subscribers, we share with our subscribers our indices daily reviews. Let me share that with you. On 26th May, we had clearly said that the index is in range bound. Only directional move can be expected beyond 16,400, 15,750. Similarly, on Bank Nifty, we had said that till the range is broken, we do not expect anything further. Now, Nifty was in range, within the range on 26th. So 27th मई को हमने कहा था कि बैंक निफ्टी ने ब्रेकआउट दे दिया है, लेकिन निफ्टी अभी भी रेंज में है. और आज भी आफ्टर द गुड मूव ऑन फ्राइडे स्टिल वी आर विद इन द रेंज. The breakout is awaited. Bank Nifty, as expected, moved further upwards and we got the close around 35, 500, 600 levels. Now, I think we are almost done with Nifty. Let's have a look at Bank Nifty. Similarly, we will go with our telescopic to microscopic view from monthly charts to intraday 75-minute charts. Again, on monthly chart, it can be clear. It is clearly visible to everyone that a channel pattern or the upward moving channel is formed, where Bank Nifty tends to take support at this level. Since many years, it had even taken the support of same trend line in COVID fall as well. But now, since last few weeks, for few weeks, we had taken the resistance of some slope, and we are almost in a sideways or a slightly bearish move in this month, in this counter as per the monthly chart. Now, few things that we can notice is we can take the retracement of the up that had happened since fall of March 2020. It was the idea what we had done. We had taken, we are below the retracement of 23.6 and we had almost taken the support in March of tested 38.2 level in March. One thing that I would like all my viewers to notice is, in March our low was around 32,155, whereas in May we were around 33,000. So it gives us a higher bottom as compared to March as of now. This we can consider as a first bullish sign. We can expect that this down move is over if these levels are not reached in coming months as per the monthly chart. Let's go to weekly chart to get a clearer view. One thing that can be noticed is that whatever downside consolidation that was happening was maintained. We got a breach on second week of May, around, which had ended on 13th of May, but we again conquered that level in next week, he didn't get in prices didn't give the follow up selling, and the up move had started. Now initial target might be this resistance line, which is around 36,900 as per the weekly chart. If I check the retracement of the previous down, then we are approaching 36,561.8 level. Once breached, we can think of 16,500, 600, 16,800 levels. Sorry, I'm extremely sorry, 36,600 to 36,800 levels. Anything above that, then there is a gap between 37,125, 37,65 upwards, which might come into play in coming days above 36,800, 36,500. Let's get back to daily chart, get a clearer view. One more thing that can be noticed is high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, but higher low. Something that we can keep in our view while watching Bank Nifty. Almost a double bottom type of pattern had formed, but there was a difference. So not considering that in that ways, but there had been Bank Nifty had been in a consolidation range which gave the breakout, and as of now we can expect a level around 36,500 to 37,200 levels in coming days, subject to price gives the follow, subject to the follow-up buying in price. Now, as we had checked in Nifty, let us check our exponential moving average of 21 on Bank Nifty as well, which might give us a clearer idea. So, on Thursday, on the day of expiry, got breakout of the consolidation and close above 21 days exponential. Next day, we open the Bank Nifty opened the gap and the continues. So daily chart is suggesting a bullish up might continue in coming days. Now let's go to intraday chart, 75-minute chart. What does it suggest? So it Bank Nifty was in 3,300. Now one more thing that can be noticed is a triangular pattern was getting formed within the consolidation from 23rd of from last two candles of 23rd May till 1 o'clock or the mid of the 26th of May. And then we got breakout above that smaller consolidation happening within the larger consolidation, and further breakout of the larger consolidation as well in our trade charts. So charts are looking bullish. Let's see what are the points where we can take support and resistance on open interest. Let's check Bank Nifty. First we will go weekly open interest expected 32,000 and 38,000 now get a clearer. So in monthly, one thing that can be noticed is at 35,000 levels, put writers had just moved beyond open interest on put writers has just moved beyond the open interest of call writers. As of now, till 35,000 is protected, we can expect this move to the days. On month or on the month on month basis or as per the monthly open interest of the option chain, we might face resistance on Bank Nifty around 35,500, but the prices are beyond that, and it seems that we might not go overnight below that as per the weekly open interest, which we'll check in few minutes. Further, 36,000, 37,000, where there is massive pull of which might not go down in a day or two. So when price is reaching at this level, how open interest is behaving will give us a clearer idea in what direction price of Bank Nifty might move as per the open interest of option chain. Now let's look at the weekly open interest. One thing that we can notice is there is a huge OI at 30,000, which suggests we might not go below this levels for this weekly expiry this coming week. There is a fight between call writers and put writers at 35,500. As of now, it seems that put writers are getting upper hand above the call writers, but this is to be seen on next trading session how call writers are covering their position or how there is increase in open interest in puts. पुट में ओपन इंटरेस्ट बढ़ रहा है, कॉल में ओपन इंटरेस्ट कम हो रहा है, नहीं हो रहा है, इंटरेस्ट बढ़ रहा है. At 35,500 will decide how prices might move upwards or we might consolidate or downwards and take test the level of 30. Again, as of now, as per the open interest, as per the open interest chart, we can expect that this up move might sustain subject to 35,500 writers getting stronger. If there is a increase in open interest on calls, if we observe that in coming trading session, then we can see a consolidation might happen, which might retest 35,000 level or somewhere between 35,500, 35,100 in coming sessions. For any now, we had seen Nifty and Bank Nifty, which are tradable indices, but there are few other indices which are not exactly tradable, but they might give us the idea how the over there we might not get the open interest data, but we can see the chart and construe our idea how overall market or the broader market is placed. So let's go to the weekly chart of Nifty 500 firstly. So over here again, things that can be noticed is lower high, lower lows pattern had formed, but recently the low has been similar as compared to the previous lows. Still within the range. As of now, we cannot construe that broader market is virging away. as per the weekly chart of Nifty. And let's have a look at few sectorial indices as well. Nifty Auto, yes, Nifty Auto looks stronger as compared to other sectorial indices. Lower low placed on weekly chart. If we get higher high, which might happen above the recent top, if it happens in coming days, in coming weeks, a further up can be expected in the stocks of Nifty Autos. Nifty Auto stock above this high, our initial expectation should be somewhere around this or again 52 week highs. So I would suggest participants to go further, go deeper in their studies on Nifty Auto stocks, where you might get a good bullish up in coming weeks, subject to breach of the recent swing high. Let's have a look at Nifty IT, a sector which was like one of the sector, or we can say is blue-eyed boy of Indian stock market, but recently not getting the actual move that is happening on the lower sides. So there was a consolidation that was happening since September 2021 till date up to mid of the April, where we got the results of Infosys and the downward spiral in IT stocks intensified. One thing that can be noticed is a breach of support had happened with the gap and a down move continued. This gap can be taken as a continuation gap on the side of the trend. But now, as of now, what to expect? For that, let's take the retracement, the previous down move, which might give us the idea. Again, one thing I would like to share with my participants is whenever you are getting confluence of FIBO along with some support resistance lines or trend lines or indicators, those areas suggest to be a zone where further movement can be expected. हम उस जगह पे ज्यादा मूवमेंट एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं. तो if we get a move beyond the recent last week's high, where almost a spinning top type of pattern had happened. Like we cannot say it as a hammer, but we can definitely say it as spinning top doji type pattern, which is suggesting that there is confusion between buyers and sellers. Sellers are not expecting further down move, buyers are not expecting further move. If prices breaches the high of this candle, the move can be expected, where resistance might be faced at different level as per the retracement. But we would take care specifically when the prices of Nifty IT index reaches around 33,200, 33,300, where the zone is getting met by the support line, gap area on weekly charts, and 61.8% retracement of Fibonacci of the previous swing. Now, let's have a look at the Nifty Pharma as well. Over here, a down move had happened, but one thing again we can notice is higher low, similar high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, almost similar high, and almost similar low. So this seems to be a consolidation area on Nifty Pharma stocks in weekly charts. It seems that this consolidation might continue in coming weeks. Any breakout beyond this level or below this level, we can expect movement on either sides, or else this consolidation is going to continue on in coming weeks as per the charts of Nifty Pharma. One more thing I would like my viewers to keep in notice, keep their view on, is a round top pattern is getting formed on weekly charts of Nifty Pharma. I am highlighting it again. A round top pattern is getting formed. So, if we do not breach this level and consolidation continues, then on breach of this level, a down move up to this range can be expected as per the pattern that is getting formed, and breach of that level we might see a further down. Now, before ending up my session, I would again like to thank Spider for giving us a beautiful software where we can get the charts. We are able to analyze the charts with various indicators, and there is good support of data which is available with the charts.
Kapilji,
Yes, sir.
Mitessh sir is going to join any moment now. Maybe we have a couple of minutes before he joins in. I
Yes.
would like to ask the participants if they want to ask anything to you pertaining to the charts or the OI data that you covered over the last 54 minutes. So please, participants, may I urge you to put in your questions in the question segment. We'll give it to Kapilji once you kind of
So I request all the attendees kindly write down your questions in the question box.
Mitessh sir will be joining any moment. Sir, there is a question. Is the overall trend negative, or you think there is a risk in buying side?
Sir, if you ask me overall trend, I will again go to the weekly chart of Nifty, where a trend, we all know, the father of technical analysis, Dow Jones, who had given us the Dow theory. And because of his contribution to the technical analysis, US has made an index named after him, who suggests a trend is said to be formed when you are getting like this higher high, higher low, again higher high, higher low, higher high. Then a move, what changed? Where we got a lower, Over here again there was higher low, but we got a similar high or slightly lower high. Then we got the lower low, again lower high. But as of now, we are getting similar low. So this can be a consolidation or this can be a, as of now, as per the current open interest, current VIX calculation and chart trading. Initially, our expectation is the up move somewhere around this level. Any further up move, we might test this gap area on weekly chart. A breach of this high will suggest that down move is almost over, or we are getting away with the bearish move that had happened in past few months. As of now, this up move, if we get lower high again and we retest this level and get lower, then we can suggest that this bearish movement that had happened in previous months is going to get continued. But this is weekly chart. Any pattern that is getting formed might take many weeks to view the results. That's why we went from a telescopic view of monthly chart till 75-minute intraday chart, where we can get the tradable views. If I go to intraday chart and reiterate my view, then any move beyond this consolidation will give further up move. I am saying this again, other than our students, for the participants who are not studied with us, that a break of this rectangular pattern or a rectangle that is happened or consolidation that had happened, we can expect a breakout of this up move beyond this level, and subject to breakout getting sustained, price sustaining above this breakout level, move can be expected of the size of the consolidation on intraday chart. But that up move might happen in coming days. Then resistance zone that can be seen on daily charts is somewhere around 16950, which is confluencing with our open interest, where we have massive interest on full OI at 17,000 levels. It is confluencing with our Fibo retracement as we had seen. Let me show you again on daily chart. Confluence is happening of 50% Fibo retracement around 6927 with our support line, which was earlier our support line, now which might act as our resistance line of 16950. So we are getting confluence of open interest, support resistance as per the Dow theory, VIX calculation and everything, which suggests that if prices trades above the consolidation zone as marked on the intraday chart, we might retest the 17,000. Now, any further move beyond that, how price patterns are getting formed, how open interest data, which is very dynamic, gives us the suggestion, can give us the further view. Any more questions? Please feel free to ask.
Kapilji, we have Mitessh sir now. So good morning, Mitessh sir. Extremely happy to have you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, good morning, Arif. I can hear you, and it's a pleasure being here with all of you guys.
Thank you so much for taking time out. So we have a large audience, and we will do a good discussion around Nifty and Bank Nifty, particularly for the June series. And Kapil ji has shared his views largely on the chart as well as the open interest data. Maybe if you can sum it up and give your short view in terms of what you think of the markets, particularly Nifty and Bank Nifty. And then maybe after that, we can take some questions from the audience.
Right. So broadly, I think, Arif, the view is not very different. So broadly, the view is not very different. I think, what is happening is that if you were to look at and I think Kapil would have covered that, I'm just summing it up, that on both the Bank Nifty and the Nifty, the weekly and the monthly MACDs have, kind of started, or even other indicators have started to tail off, and they are now below their trigger lines. Suggest that some kind of corrective movement should play out. Now, the question which arises next is that whether this corrective movement will be more of price-wise correction or more of time-wise correction. When it initially happened, my feeling was that we'll have a good price-wise correction purely, because of the fact that we have had a very strong rally from post-COVID, which is the market below 8,000 to as high as about 18,500 on the upside. So I will look at a bigger retracement of this rally, maybe to about 14,400, 500. But repeatedly, what we have seen is that at lower levels around 15,700, and this is, I think, the third attempt on the daily chart, but on intraday charts, there are multiple attempts that around this level we have seen the market stabilize and come back into some kind of an action on the upside. So I think I just talked up to discussing the 75-minute Nifty chart. What I'll do is I'll put the 75-minute Bank Nifty chart, which will give you the immediate. So on the 75-minute Bank Nifty chart, you can see that recently we have had this breakout from this triangular contraction pattern. So the Bank Nifty was the first index to reverse in the short term. The Nifty, I think, because of that, failed to break below the 15,700. So repeatedly, when you're taking support at some level, it means that this correction could broadly be more of time-wise correction than price-wise correction. So Nifty, if you look at the weekly chart, and allow me to shift to that, this is the weekly chart, and I'll go to the Nifty chart. Yeah. We have seen that on an average, we have seen highs, rallies ending around this 18,500, about 18,000 levels. I've drawn a line on the candlestick chart. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more touch points. Similarly, broadly, if you draw this line over here, you will see that the Nifty closing is not happening below this line. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4 times broadly, right? So it looks like more of a time-wise correction to me, which means that next few months could be spent without getting any decent gains. But then this market therefore becomes a buy on decline. So towards the lower end of the range, you should now look at fish at more of buying opportunities. Fortunately, we haven't run up too much from the lower end of the range. So my sense is that in the short term, the move has just started. That will be confirmed once, as Kapil was highlighting, this level of around 16,400, once the rectangular breaks on the upside. Now, once that happens, I think 17,100 towards 16,950 is broadly the first set of target which I'm looking at. And that will provide you enough stock trading opportunities on the long side. And then, as I said, I think, it's more dynamic stuff. So we'll keep on evaluating that and see whether we are able to get beyond that or not. But overall, this looks like a market which will be for the next couple of months, at least 3 to 4 to 5 months, more of sideways activity will be happening over here. And therefore, towards the lower end of support area, you should try to buy, and as you hit the upper end of supply chains or supply levels, that is where you would want to take profits. If you have any questions, if you have any issues, you can just fire them at me. Am I audible, guys? Did you hear what I was saying?
Yes, sir, and visible as well. Nice to have you on this.
All right, wonderful.
You may stop your screen share, sir.
Sorry?
You may stop your screen share, sir.
You want me to stop the screen share?
Yes, please. Rather have you on the frame and yeah, that's better. So, can you take some questions, please? We have Mitessh sir live and more than happy to kind of answer your questions. Please type in your questions. I mean, I think there's a question. Can we see 13,000 in coming months? Mitessh sir?
I can't hear you anyway.
I'm saying there's a question. Can we see 13,000 levels in the coming months?
The audio is not very clear. Your voice is echoing.
Can you hear me now? Mitessh, can you come in?
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Can we see 13,000 in coming months?
In all honesty, when we started this entire decline, when the weekly and the monthly indicators started breaking below their trigger lines, the first logical target which I was looking on the Nifty, I'll just go over here. Sorry. I have to do screen sharing again, right? Can you see me? Can you see my screen, guys?
प्रेजेंटर से हटा दो, लेकिन वो बोल सके ऐसा रखना.
Can you hear my guys? Can you see my screen, guys? Better?
Yes, sir. We can see you. Yeah.
So when this entire thing started, when this momentum started going out from here, the first feeling was that the worst you can see possibly is levels of around 15,200, which is this high. So I'll just mark this high of consolidation. I'll mark this high over here. This is the level which I was looking at. Around 15,150, 200 was the first feeling. And I thought in the worst case scenario, we were looking at a test of this bottom or low of the consolidation, which kind of coincides with the previous high as well, around the 14,400, 14,350 mark. So that was the level which I was looking at. So I'm not very sure today as of now that I'm looking at a target of 13,000. In fact, I'm not even sure of testing 14,400 because it looks like that what can happen possibly with the fact that every time this, sorry guys, there's some construction. Okay. Every time the Nifty is hitting this line, we are getting a bounce back. Typically, with time, what will happen is that the indicators will bottom out and start moving up. So my sense is that 15,500, 15,200 in the medium term could be it. Only if that breaks, I will look at 14,400. But I'm not sure of 13,000 today. I don't think I'm looking at that possibility. Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to next question. Our next question is, can you share the most used beneficial indicator setup for intraday index trading?
So we basically used a combination of moving averages, MACD, and then we are experimenting with a couple of other indicators like RSI, etc. But the most trusted and the most used ones are MACD and the moving averages. I hardly see, if you go to my screen over here and just look at this intraday chart, I have an RSI plotted, but broadly it's the MACD and the averages which I'm plotting to use it. I think as long as I'm working with them, I'm totally fine. See, MACD is a very unique indicator in the sense that I'm sure everybody has used it over here. The only thing is the numbers which we possibly are backtesting and deriving which numbers, which parameters we want to place. The idea of using MACD is that it's a very unique indicator in the sense that it is the only indicator which can combine momentum as well as trend. So MACD being positive, which means that one average is above the other, this does depict theoretically positive trend. And MACD rising means that the gap between the averages is going up, will depict momentum. So I think for me, I've realized over a number of years after using many indicators, I've been very happy using a simple set of MACD along with moving averages. And the same is followed across this thing. Though we keep experimenting with a lot of indicators for backtesting and all, for algo trading and all, but I think the most trusted one, the most used one, is a combination of exponential moving average crossover, again backtested, and MACD numbers backtested.
Okay, so moving on to next question. Kindly share your views on few stocks like Adani Enterprises, M&M, Maruti, Tata Motors.
So I'm very bullish on the entire auto pack. I think you will see strong upside in the next leg of up move when Tata Motors, Maruti, and M&M. Adani Enterprise is something which I've not been tracking very closely. So I'm sorry for that. I don't have an immediate ready-made view on that. But Tata Motors, I believe that the low of 370 or thereabout, which is being made, I think that bottom is created. In case the worst case scenario, you can possibly see the retest of that low. So anything below 400, 380 for me is a super. I'm sorry, I think there's some drilling work which has started. But yeah, if you can hear me, guys, anything below 483 or 400, 380 is a wonderful entry opportunity. I think once this consolidation is over, and for Tata Motors, the broad range is about, for the time being, roughly about 460, 470 on the upside, about 380 on the downside, 10 points here and there. But once this is over, I think Tata Motors will clear the highs of 540 and head towards 650 plus level. So extremely positive on that. Similarly, very positive on M&M. M&M, in fact, is trading very close to the highs, the weekly highs, which the yearly highs which the stock has been making. And I think it's just on the verge of this breakout setup. Sorry, this is a monthly chart. I am sorry, this is the weekly chart. So if you see this, we've just had this breakout happening above this beautiful range. The only thing is that you can possibly draw a line joining these highs and say that a confirmation will happen once we are beyond 975. So once this resistance line is crossed, which has basically 3 highs on a weekly closing chart marked to it, once this is crossed, I think a minimum the stock should do is about 1150, 1200, and maybe on the positive side 1400 plus. So extremely positive on the entire auto pack. But M&M, Tata Motors remain my top pick. Maruti is something which is for the time being, I think it's in a uptrend, but I'm not sure of the stock making a new high. What it can possibly do is retest the recent high of 8700, and in good case if that is being crossed, then I think if this 8750 is crossed, then maybe retest the size of 9500. So I'm not looking at a new high of Maruti, but positive over there. So if you were to ask me to rank these stocks in these 3 names, I think it will be Tata Motors, M&M, and Maruti in that sequence. And other than as I said, I don't have a very clear view in the short term.
Okay, so next one. What are the sectors which are looking strong?
Sorry, sir. Yeah, please repeat that.
What are the sectors which are looking strong?
Okay. So one, I think auto is something which I'm extremely positive about. I think if you are trading in the short term, which is basically about a few weeks from here, I think IT has made an important low and could reverse from here. Same thing could happen on the charts of Nifty Reality, and Bank Nifty is of course leading in the short term. So I think these 4 sectors I would focus upon. I think to a certain extent, mid cap and sectors like fertilizers and these side sectors like energy, etc., aren't very convincing to me. Metals is something which is oversold. It could reverse in the next few days to come by. We haven't got a confirmed reversal signal or a strong reversal signal as we've got on the charts of IT and banks. So I think as of now, metals is under watching, under watch list. The price damage is there, the correction has happened, but we are yet to see a good sign of a reversal happening over there. But I think these 4 sectors, IT, banks, auto to a certain extent, and your oil and gas to a certain extent. These are the 4 sectors which today I'm very positive about. Nifty Reality is something also which I'm considering.
Okay,
Yeah,
sir.
Go to the next sector. Next question.
Yeah. Okay, sir. That was the last question. Any last words from your sides to our attendees?
I think one, my always advice to all of people who are aspiring to get into trading as an activity is that you should possibly keep a very close watch on your risk reward equation and emotions. I think as long as you are able to do that, the degree of success can vary from individual to individual, but I think that is the key to unlock the entire thing. Don't focus too much on adding indicators or going into it. I think that's something which a lot of people want to do. But select indicators which you can understand, are easy for you to take decisions upon and appeal to your gut. Once you've done that, then I think the focus should shift to the practical part of it.
Okay. Thank you, sir, for sharing your great knowledge with us and with all the attendees present here now. Okay, so thank you all for joining today's webinar, and I would like to thank Mr. Mitessh Thakkar, Kapil, Dasani, and everyone. So that's all for today's webinar. Thank you for joining with us.